If you've ever noticed that as soon as you start to be successful with something, you start to pull back, even if you don't really want to, there is a nervous system thing that's at work in you as a high achiever that feels unsafe with some aspect of your success. In this episode of the Unlock Your Blocks podcast, I'm going to walk you through exactly why that happens, but also I'm going to hand you an exercise that's going to get you out of that freeze mode that stops you from actually accomplishing your goals so that you can move forward and get past the self sabotage your nervous system is doing. My name is Elyssa Smith, and I'm a trauma informed executive coach. And this pattern is so common in high achievers, high impact people, people who are perfectionists. If you were the responsible one growing up, if you're the glue of the family or the glue of the friend group, this is often going to be something that you see in your patterns because your nervous system is hyper vigilant for any threat to your value. Okay, so let's talk about what this actually looks like. So I have a client right now and she is a really high performer. She's in the top of her business. She's the founder of her company and they're very very successful. And she was talking to me about how once she starts something and it starts to work, like it could be going to the gym or eating healthy or starting to get her calendar organized so that she's not up at all hours doing work for her business. As soon as it starts to work, and as soon as she starts to feel a little better and get a breather, she stops doing what was working and finds herself back in the original starting position where she feels overwhelmed, depleted, and completely burned out. If you see yourself in any of that, there's a really good reason for this. It's not your fault. So, high achievers have a lot at stake. We believe in childhood that our worth, our value lies in how much we're producing, how well we can do something, and how well we can maintain it at that level. So once we're confronted with the possibility of success, because most of us were trained to be the hardest worker in the room, our motto was be better, do more, work harder. Are you raising your hand yet? You're my people. So if you grow up that way, learning that most of your needs are going to be met, the more perfectly that you can do things. This is another perfectionist issue, is that once we get to that level of success that we've been working for and trying to get to, clawing our way to it, sometimes we will find ourselves with our nervous system being overwhelmed at the prospect of that success. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. Some people call it like a fear of success or a fear of failure, and it just depends on what it is. You might start to feel really a lot better about your life. Like my whole job as an executive coach who's trauma informed is to identify where are my clients' patterns that are causing these behaviors and how do we resolve them so my client can feel better. But sometimes when we start to feel better, that can feel like a threat. Why might that be? Okay, so reason number one this can happen is because as soon as something starts working, as soon as there's any glimpse of success or ease or joy or getting the thing that you wanted, your body starts to feel like, uh-oh, when's the other shoe gonna drop? So if something starts to feel too good or to feel too successful, it's too good to be true because we grew up having evidence to that effect, having evidence that as we continue to move towards something good, something or someone is going to come and undercut everything. They're going to take the rug out from under us. So the system starts to slow down the good feeling or slow down the success in order to avoid being totally blindsided by something that takes you out. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, this can happen is because some prospect of that success, let's say you get to let's say you're a founder running your own business and you get to a level of visibility where now you're maybe speaking on stages or maybe your Instagram is taking off or maybe your company is taking off and lots of clients, you have your pipeline filled. There's a little part of us that's back there processing. It's like our little, like taking notes, like with a little clipboard, like, okay, well, what's it going to take to maintain this level of success? And it looks like it's going to take burnout if you're never going to get a break. Like maybe you're going to get to this level of success, complete the thing, get the visibility, get the pipeline filled, build the business, build your career. Maybe you're working your way up the career ladder in corporate. Well, then at that level, then how much harder is that work going to be? And there's a little part of us that's very aware that we've been overworked our whole lives. And so that overachiever, overaccomplisher, overthinker is doing us a favor. It thinks it's a little protector part that's like, hey, I don't think you're safe. I think you're heading toward, for sure, you're going to get burned out. For sure, you're going to have to work so hard to maintain that level of success. It's just not safe for us to get to that success level. So that's the second reason this can happen. Another reason that this can happen, that we start pumping the brakes when the nervous system perceives that we're starting to succeed, and it starts to create little self-sabotage tendencies during that time, is that it perceives that you are actually going to fail. You'll get to that level of success and you won't be able to maintain it, or you won't be able to make everyone happy, or you'll be exposed to people that don't like you when you're at that level of success, and you are going to fail. All of these reasons cause the nervous system to feel like it has to go out in front and search out every possibility of bad things that are going to happen when you're successful. And when you are successful, if the nervous system doesn't think you can stay safe and successful, it will stop you from the success. So you may find that you're getting really close to, automating your business and having some ease, or you're reducing the appointments on your calendar, but still your income is up. Or maybe it's in your personal life. Maybe it's with relationships. Maybe you've been working on your marriage or your relationship with your family members or your parenting, and things are starting to look easier. And your system is like, this is unfamiliar. We don't trust this. We're going to fail. We're going to mess it up. We're going to be exposed to censure or criticism, or we're going to have to maintain this level of hard work in order to keep it like this. Now, that's our system is very black and white. So getting to a level of ease or success or joy or financial abundance can feel to the body like we will always have to push this hard forever to maintain a good thing. But the reality of life is that it ebbs and flows, right? We find we work hard, maybe we're hustling a little bit. And the idea is to hustle while the nervous system can stay regulated. So it means we internally move a little slower, but you cannot do that if your nervous system is afraid. We have to help our nervous systems actually feel safe as we're moving towards success, because success may be unknown. Those of us who are high achievers, high impact people, we're used to going after the next unknown big goal. We know how to do that. We know how to pick a goal that we know we can achieve and go after it and work hard for it. But it is challenging for us to move softer, to move in a way that the nervous system feels safe to go along with us. A lot of times we self abandon to get to those goals. And then once we get to the goal, who's celebrating? Probably not us, unless you've been working on this for a while. Who's asking for help along the way? Probably not us, unless you've been working on this for a while. It's a journey, right? We're on this journey together to get to a place where we can actually enjoy the experience of the hard work we're putting in, enjoy the life and the career and the business that we're building. But to do that, you have to help your nervous system come along with you instead of leaving it in the dust. Like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to bring you along. I don't have time to update you and bring you up to speed. But the message we have to give our nervous system, the amygdala, the vagus nerve, all that juicy stuff with the sympathetic fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses, those are all doing a good job to try and keep us alive. Hey, grateful for that. Glad they did so far. That's a good thing for our bodies to have that tendency. And it actually really helps us survive. But if we continue at that breakneck speed, things like success that are unknown or that might bring up other threats or other factors that we can't think about right now or can't tolerate, our nervous system, our survival brain is going to be in charge the whole time, which is very primal. It's not, when we're in that survival mode, we don't have access to the higher level thinking, the decision making that we really need if we're going to operate at these higher levels. If you're trying to internally expand to allow for more ease, peace, joy, and abundance in your life, you have to have your nervous system kind of take it by the hand and update it as you go. So here's your exercise that you can do that will help you if you start to notice that you're pumping the brakes as something starts to work. If you're starting to sabotage, if you're starting to procrastinate, if you leave behind the good habits, as soon as things start to feel a little more easy or a little more successful, this is the exercise that will help with that. So what you do is you ask yourself, what happens? So you're noticing the pumping of the brakes, right? So you notice that your system is kind of stopping you. And then you write down the answer to this question in as much detail as you can. What happens if this works? What happens if by altering my diet and my workout routines, I actually start to get to the healthy weight that I want, or I actually start to have my energy again, or I actually start to get better from my injuries. I had an injury last year that threw me for a loop, and it was really challenging to come back from. But some of our bodies will try and protect us from stuff by getting injured. I just fell in dance class. I don't think it was a protective mechanism, but we can get injured. Like my son is in sports, and on a big game day, sometimes he'll start to have pain in his body because his body is worried that he's not going to play his best. And so we have nervous system regulation techniques that we can use. So, what if this starts to work? What if this works? What if I am successful in this area? Then I want you to ask yourself what feels unsafe about it specifically. So if you know that, okay, if this starts to be successful, that my eating habits and my exercise are helping me get stronger and get the level of fitness that I'm really after, what feels potentially unsafe about that? Some of my clients, this is a very real thing for a lot of my high impact clients. They're asking this question about exercise and nutrition. What happens if it starts to work? Because they find themselves resisting once they get into a routine. It sometimes is because of childhood trauma, because if they ever got noticed or picked on for how their appearance was, or if they ever got made fun of for anything that had to do with their fitness, their diet, anything like that, their nervous system kept that as a memory. That our bodies hold on to things like that, like trauma. And so it doesn't feel safe then to go after this more ideal fitness level that we're going after. It could be something about your business. What if I got that big speaking engagement? What if I get this big promotion? What doesn't feel safe about that? It could be you're afraid you're going to look stupid. You're afraid you won't know what to do. Maybe you'll do a bad job. Maybe people won't like you. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of those things, all of those fears that were legitimate when we were small because we needed other people to like us. We needed other people to to help us meet our needs. Those things can still be playing in our hearts and emotions and in our nervous system now, even when they're not true. Because even if you go in and let's say you bomb a performance, I actually was just listening to something on YouTube from a comedian that I like listening to. And he was talking about this one terrible gig where they refused to pay him because it went so poorly. This guy's a superstar now. So it happens to everybody, right? And we can come back from it. But the nervous system is like, we are not risking that. So if you can identify why your system is scared, about that success feels scary, then a lot of times we can go with that and say, okay, so if that happens, here's the worst case scenario. Here's how I will take care of myself if that's the case. If I get to this level of success in my business and it's too much work for me to maintain, I will fill in the blank, hire someone to help, hire a coach or a consultant to help me figure out how to systematize or automate some of this. I will take a break. I will have enough financial means to take a vacation if it gets too much. I will fill in the blank. Whatever it is that you think would work for your nervous system to feel taken care of, you kind of play out that worst case scenario. What happens if I'm successful? Okay, let's take that somewhere. What doesn't feel safe about that? All right, that doesn't feel safe. Here's how we'll handle that. Sometimes just having your worst case scenario plan for if you get really successful in an area, how will you take care of yourself? How will you make sure that your needs stay met in that place of success? That can sometimes be enough to just wipe away and melt away the protector parts that are trying to stop you from going into that unknown. So I hope this is helpful for you. And in the meantime, I'd love for you to download this free guide that I made that has 5 specific nervous system hacks that you can do that are super fast and simple. And everything that you do to calm your nervous system, if you think about it this way, it's kind of helpful. It goes into this bucket of feeling safer. And the more safe your nervous system feels, the more you're going to be free to just decide what you want to do and go do it. Your system won't try to stop you. So this bucket fills up every time you do one exercise, 2 exercises, 3 exercises, and it holds on to that as evidence that you're going to be okay and that you can go after your dreams and be abundant and have a life of joy and ease and not stop your productivity. So I hope that's helpful for you. You can go to elyssasmith.com/reset to grab that PDF. And if you're looking for a little bit of a deeper dive into this, you can book a free 15-minute chat with me. elyssasmith.com/focus will get you my calendar and you can grab a spot that works for you. So thank you so much for watching this. Subscribe, like if this hit the spot for you, send it to someone if you know that they struggle with the same stuff. And until next time, take such good care of yourself.